Hello, I'm Anna Marie, and this is Focus. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's a closer look at people, places, and things right here in our own community. It's resources. It's things to educate you a little bit about things that are available to you or events that are important that you might want to take part in. Today, we're talking with Stacy Hall, the director of Mothers Over Murder. Now, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to admit I did not know Mothers Over Murder existed. And so we want you to educate people. Tell everybody listening what it's about and why it was formed, that kind of thing.
So first of all, no need to apologize because unfortunately, Mothers Over Murder is actually a group that nobody really intentionally wants to join. It's a group of mothers who have lost their kid to an act of violence. I've been with the organization since 2015. I lost my son. He was gunned down in 2014. So it's been around since 2008. But as I stated, I've been with them since 2014. Unfortunately, it's growing. It's a growing group. It's more and more mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers that are losing their loved ones to the act of violence.
What does Mothers Over Murder intend to do? What do you do?
Mothers Over Murder is a support group. It is a support and action group. And the support is we come together, we love on each other, we take 2, 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls because, you know, when you lose a loved one and you have the funeral and you have the repast, everybody is, if you need anything. But once the funeral is over, the chicken is gone, everybody's gone. You don't get no phone calls. You don't get no, hey, are you okay? Have you eaten? Mothers Over Murder has been, for me, that person that I can call, the CEO. Hey, Clemmy Greenlee. She's the CEO. When I came to Mothers Over Murder, she was that person that I could actually call seriously at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then about them leaving my son on the side of the road, shooting him, just leaving him like a dog. I like to use the analogy. He was left by his dogs, DOWG, on the side of the road like a dog, DOG.
Yeah.
So, but Clemmy and Mothers Over Murder, they are my support. They are the people we all understand, because you can have people that you can talk to and they're just good listeners.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to talk to people who really, really understand how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Really understand when you say that you're angry at the world, when you're angry at God, you upset, you going through your angry season, and that really, truly, honestly can look at you and understand what you're going through. And then on the community part, we like to get out. We get out in the community. We talk to people. I have been so many places under Mothers Over Murder. I used to use the analogy, change this negative into a positive. My changing the negative situation of my son being murdered to a positive, Clemmy have sent me to New York, to Pennsylvania. I have been everywhere I have never been. That was my first time being on a plane and everything.
Wow.
When she told me, she said, you need to go to Philadelphia. And I was like, how long is that ride? She was like, no, you get on a plane. I was like, what? I was like, Clemmy, I ain't never been on a plane. She was like, are you serious? She couldn't believe it. I had never. But I learned that when you're speaking to others, you're like speaking to yourself. You know, because it's like, I'm telling you, okay, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. But then it's like a ricochet for me because I know exactly what you're going through. So you're not just talking to me. I understand when you say that you're mad.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand when you say that you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning and have nobody to talk to. That's why I tell people, because Clemmy gave me that love and support at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I tell anybody, call me whenever. And I mean, call me whenever. I had this one lady, she called me about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I think I dozed off on her and everything. Woke up, she was still talking. I was like, yes. I took a shower and everything, got dressed for work.
But she needed to do that.
She talked the whole time. And then, when then it was about I'll never forget, it was about 7:45. And she was like, well, I'm going to go on and let you go back to sleep. I said, well, no, I actually just pulled up at work, But it's like when you need that support, and I know what it means to need that support.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Antioch on the outskirts of Nashville. So it's a lot of things that's going on in the city that I had no idea. The hate that's going on, the racist stuff that's going, I had no idea of everything that was going on. And I'm just glad to be with the organization so then I can step up and step out and help. Like when at the hate crime, I was like, okay, no, we're not doing this to kids. You know,
Stop the Hate rally.
The Stop the Hate rally. Yes, I was there.
So this was last year or something, or a couple of years ago?
No, this was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, a couple of weeks. Okay, so you stepped up and said, what did you do?
I asked Clemmy, what is it that I can do? And she said, well, actually, she had something going on and I can go and speak at the rally. I was upset when I got the video because the video went viral. So let me tell you what the video was. The video was the Nazis. I had been seeing it all week. They was not bothering anybody, you know, and they have the right to protest.
And they were doing
marching,
a little march.
And that was fine. And because you have that right.
Yeah.
But what bothered me is when they decided to lash out and say something, they did it to the little black kids. And these kids, when I say kids, I don't mean teenagers. I mean 8, 9-year-old little boys.
Yeah.
And so they was like calling them the N-word. They even called them names that I'm not going to repeat on the radio, but just know that I'm 53 and it was names I never heard in my life.
And hope to never hear again.
And I hate that the kids, you had to say that to them kids, and that could be damaging. That could cause them to be racist against white people because they don't even know why. That's what got me. Because I'm 53 and I don't know why the racism. So I know at 8 years old, they don't know why they're having this racism, why these men talking to us like that. And so the police officer was pushing them on, the kids, not the adults. They was pushing the kids on, said, go on, just be the bigger person. I'm like, be the bigger person? They're kids. They don't have to be bigger anything.
Yeah.
They have to be kids. And these were not, let me say this, these were not kids that was just downtown just to hang out. They are drummers. They like have boxes and carts that they're like making music to raise money. They're not doing anything wrong. They're doing some constructive.
Yeah.
Instead of being out there doing anything destructive.
Exactly.
And then you're going to come to the kids like this? That hurt me to my heart. Yeah. I was like, why are they bothering the kids? And it was like, they didn't say anything to the kids. The police didn't say anything to the kids until they start saying something back. When to be proactive, as soon as these adults start saying something to the kids, they should have said something to the kids, to the adults, not the kids.
Like just keep it civil, just calm down, guys.
And leave the kids alone.
Yeah.
Let's be blunt. Leave the kids alone. Why are you messing with the kids? And that's what I thought, because I knew I had been seeing them on the news all week long. They never said anything. They did their little chants, but they never said anything to any adults. They showed them walking past white people, walking past black people, walking past everybody, and not saying anything. But then when they seen these little black kids that really knew no better, they didn't have a clue. I don't think they even understood like what was going on. Because like I said, I'm 53. So what are you mad about?
Right.
I'm 53 years old, and I still do not understand what are you so upset about? Is it my grandmama knew your grandmama's grandmama, or your grandmama's grandmama's grandmama? Like, it took your granddaddy from their grandmama. I'm like, and it's silly, but I'm being honest. I know. What is the real? Here it is, 2024. 2024. They say move forward, go on with. Y'all are still focusing on something from the 1900s, the 1930s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is. Yeah. What really happened? I would want to sit down and talk to them, and so they can tell me, what are you really mad about? Yeah. What is it? Because if it's something that my ancestors did with your ancestors, I ain't had nothing to do with that. I don't know what you say about that.
I was not there.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anybody to hear to tell me about it. I don't know.
So that is why you are now involved with the Stop the Hate in Nashville rally and things like that.
Mm-hmm. It started with Mothers Over Murder.
You said you have some stories that you can tell about you three ladies in the room that kind of connect you in unusual ways. You want to tell some of those so we know
I'll
what's
tell
going
mine,
on?
and then we can let them tell theirs.
Okay.
Okay, so
hold up,
okay.
just a second. Hold that thought. Just in case, so you know, you're listening to Focus. If you just tuned in, I'm Anna Marie. We're talking with Stacy Hall, the directors of Mothers Over Murder. Now,
so I lost my son in 2014. In 2015, broken, hurt, not understanding my feelings, not understanding my emotions, thinking I'm going crazy, suicidal and homicidal. I'm just being honest. I'm mad, want to kill myself because, kill my son, my baby boy. Then I'm feeling alone. So then now I'm like, I want somebody to feel how I was feeling. Because I didn't know that there were Mothers Over Murder. There was groups out there where because I was feeling like I was the only one.
yeah.
So then I will never forget, I was going over the Jefferson Street Bridge. I had an Explorer. And one thing I did do, not the big spiritual person, I'm not going to claim to be that, but when my son was killed, I did get a better relationship, my own relationship with God. I did do that. So I'm on the Jefferson Street Bridge, and in my mind, I'm fixing to take this truck and slam it this way. And it seemed like go off the bridge. But it was like as if he came right in and sat in the passenger seat and was like, Stacy, you don't like pain. Only thing you're going to do is be hurt.
This was God or your son?
It was God.
Yeah.
And so I guess it was God. So in my mind, I said out loud, okay, so what is it that you want me to do? I promise you the next day I was on Facebook and they was talking about if you're tired of the violence in Nashville, go to this meeting. It turned out to be with Clemmy Greenlee with Mothers Over Murder. And when I walked in there, it was a room full, because remember I said I thought I was by myself. It was a room full of mothers. When I say a room, I'm talking 20, 30, 40 mothers who have lost their child. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking, and Clemmy, she be no stranger. She walks in, she says, because they call my son D. Hall. D. Hall. His name is DeAnthony Hall. They called him D. Hall. She walked in and she was like, because I had talked to her on the phone previously. She walked in, she said, where D. Hall, mama at? And I'm like, hey. She said, I'm glad you came. And so then it went on from there. And it was the connection. It was the support I needed. I never forget one time, because we have our good days. We have our bad days. Some days we okay, and some days we are absolutely not. So I never forget, I think may have been the point where I thought, or where I knew that that's where I needed to be with that group. I was at a meeting, and I had a bad day. I had been crying. And Clemmy came, and she was fixing the chairs and passing out information, and she was talking to everybody, and then she just didn't miss a beat. She said, what's going on, Stacy? Look like you're having a bad day. And it was like, and then I just broke down. And then to look at people when I say I'm mad at God, because how could you take my only son? And to have people looking at me and understand what I mean when I say I was mad at God, and not judge me because they've been there too.
Yeah.
From there, Mothers Over Murder, I was doing an interview, and I didn't have a tombstone for my son. I was I had just switched jobs. And you know how on the job you get to keep the insurance for like 30, 60 days. Mm-hmm. My last day of keeping my insurance was November the 30th. My son was killed December the 2nd.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have insurance.
Oh, my gosh.
His brothers and sisters, they got the money, though. shout out to the Hall's brothers and sisters. They raised the money to bury their brother. They was on the corners with buckets. They raised the money. Loved them for that. Gonna always love them for that. But with that being said, I didn't have a tombstone, and I was doing an interview with the Tennessean. And I didn't know that Clemmy had partnered with these other people, and they was trying to find somebody that they can do a tombstone for. So she heard me in there, and she said that she was like, trying to find somebody, and there was somebody right here. So the support. My son was killed in Gallatin, Tennessee, so I had to go to court. The ladies that live in Chapel Hill, Tennessee, they came to support me for the trial. They came to the trial. And I'm up here like, Clemmy came with me to the trial. I'm like, the support. They came with me to the trial. And so I was out there and I was emotional. And one of the ladies said, you want me to tell her now? I'm like, I looked, I said, tell me what? Because I'm like, here I am at the trial. What is it that you're not trying to tell me?
Yeah, and you're overwhelmed already.
Yeah, and I'm already overwhelmed. So then she said, we want to pay for your tombstone for your son. I said, what? I said, are you serious? They was like, yeah. I said, why? And they looked at me. They said, we just do. Will you let us do that? And I was like, okay. So then they were so loving and so supportive that Clemmy was like, okay, I'm going to let you know how much you can spend. The lady turned around and looked at Clemmy. She said, no. She turned around and she grabbed me. She said, get what you want and we'll get the money. And I was like, so then that's when I was like, I got to do something, because when you lose a child, and it could be, lose a father, if you don't find something positive and you let that negativity, it's going to destroy you. And I can say this because a lady said it to me. It's going to destroy you.
Yeah.
And so I kept telling myself, you got to find a way to change this negative situation into something positive.
Yeah.
So then going to the meetings and just being around other mothers, it was like the more I talked, the more I felt better. The more I talked about it, said his name and just kept talking, I felt better. So then it was like, Stacy, you're going to go speak here, you're going to go speak here. Keep in mind, when you're in high school and junior high school and you have the book report and you have to talk about the book and then you have to write about. I did good in writing. I never passed when I had to talk in front of class. I forgot the whole book. So when she was saying, you got to speak, I'm like, I don't speak in public, Clemmy. And she was like, yes, you do. You'll do fine. I'm like, no, ma'am. And so then I'm like, okay, I need to write down. So in your mind, you think I need to write down. And then she was like, no, you don't have to write anything down because you're speaking from your heart. You're telling your experience. So I'm like, okay. So I did it. And so then she started popping with surprises. We was at a event and she was supposed to speak. And we was sitting there and she was like, the lady came up, she said, hey, Clemmy, are you going to speak? She was like, no, Stacy's going to speak on my behalf. And I was like, but I did. I went up and I'm looking. And then when she did, she was sitting right beside me. She never looked over at me. I'm up here trying to stare her down. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean I'm going to speak? So then I started getting all these applauses when I started speaking, and then I started feeling like people were listening to me.
Yeah.
I have been at nightclubs. I had this little man come up, this little young fella come up. He said, hey, how you doing? I'm like, fine, how are you? Are you the lady that be talking on TV about stopping the violence and everything? I was like, yeah. And he's like, can I buy you a drink, please? I'm like, yeah. But it's like I've been places where I wouldn't think that people would even remember. They'd be like, Stace, I seen you on TV.
That
Good
message
job.
reached.
I'm reaching people, and it's because of Mothers Over Murder. So then, like I said, she sent me to Knoxville to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to Philadelphia. Then that weekend, I end up in New York. I'm looking like I done been to New Orleans.
So when you're speaking to people
Mm-hmm.
about Mothers Over Murder, about your experiences, what's happening to the people in the audience? Are they, like you made me cry a minute ago, and so are they sitting there crying, or are they nodding their head, or are they, what happens?
All of it. All of it. So it's like when I see that I'm touching somebody, because like Clemmy said, if you're speaking from your heart, even because I used to not want, I'm like, Clemmy, this is not a good day. I'm going to be emotional. Prime example. It was the week of December the 1st. December the 2nd is when my son got killed. We had to go speak. We had to go speak somewhere. And we don't rehearse this. This is what's got to be done. So when we get there, everybody had a certain amount of minutes to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It was for a grant. So each organization had a certain amount of time to
Yeah.
speak. So, and then after they speak, people get answer questions. So Clemmy spoke, the other lady spoke, Clemmy ended up speaking again, and I'm happy because I'm really emotional. I'm like, I don't want to talk. So then when they buzzer went off, I was like, phew. So when they said, are there any questions? This lady gonna say, I would like to hear what she has to say. And I was like, I'm saying to myself, are you serious? So I end up saying out loud, I said, I thought I got by without saying anything. And so I just told him, I said, and excuse me, I'm emotional. This is the week this is the anniversary week of my son's death. So then when I told my story, and it was like hugs, and it was the love and support, and it was like they understood.
You reached
even though
them.
I reached them, and even the sympathy, because sometimes you don't want that old poet's me, but sometimes you do just need somebody to just give you that hug. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the best hugs you can get is from a perfect stranger. You know.
Understand that.
The best hug, because I've had people hug me. When I first met Miss Pam, she hugged me. I said, can I get another hug, please? But the best hug you can get, but it's like you said, it's just the reaching and being able to reach people. And I found out that when I'm speaking to people, I'm speaking to me.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to me. So if I tell you that it's okay to cry, when I gotta cry, I gotta remind myself, hey, you told her it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's okay for her, then it's okay for you.
Yeah.
Because we all think, especially losing a child.
Mm.
If you lose a child, we all thought that our life is over. But without all the poets, you see the smile on my face. Now, when I go speak, I told that story because you asked me. But now I like to speak about the life after the death of a child. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because we never think it is. I didn't think it would. I didn't think I was going to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can. And reaching out to others, that'll help. And that's what I do. When I speak to others, it's like when people call me and then when they just don't want to talk to nobody but me, because I'm like, some people I was scared to talk to. I was like, I don't know. And then they like, well, they said they just want to talk to you. And I'm like, what? But then when I get that, I'm like, wow, like, are you serious? And it's like, hey, Stacy, we so-and-so called and they said they want to speak to you. And I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
But Clemmy taught me to have an ear. And then so now, not only do I have an ear, I can tell you coping techniques that I use and see, you can take mine because I'm where you're at.
Yeah.
Not I've been where you're at, but I'm where you're at.
Yeah.
So instead of just having somebody to listen to you, I can say to you, hey, it's okay. It's going to get better because it is going to get better. I can tell you things you can do, and I'm going to tell everybody, if you feel like crying, go on and cry.
Mm-hmm.
Scream. Because what they used to say anyway, a crying is good for the soul. They said that's it. I'm not spiritual, but they said that's somewhere in the Bible. It's good for you. So I like being that person that when people want to cry, people, and then sometimes I'm not gonna let you, because sometimes people tend to be stuck.
Yes.
In that emotional wreck position, and they can't get past it.
Yeah.
I had somebody do me one time. It was like, what's wrong with you? So when I'm telling them what's wrong with me, okay, you got 5 minutes and then you're done. Done what? Crying today. Not crying forever, but
Yes.
today.
Yes.
I'm going to call you back in about 5 or 10 minutes. You going to get it out? I've had one lady, she called me crying. What's wrong with you? I'm just having one of those days. I make people explain to me,
Yes,
what is one of those days? Because I had people do me that same way. Well, what do you mean you said? I miss my son. I said, okay, so say it. Well, what do you mean? You said you miss your son. I'm going to count to 3, and I want you to scream it as loud as you can. I miss my son.
yeah,
Then you're going to cry for 10 minutes. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I'm going to call you back, and then we're done. We're moving on.
wow,
And then we got people that are stuck in I have to celebrate the birthday. I have to celebrate the death day.
yes.
No, ma'am. No, you don't.
Why?
Because sometimes that can be a hinder. And it was a hinder for me.
Yeah,
You don't have to celebrate a death date.
it takes you right back.
Because just think about it. You're celebrating a death. That don't even, saying it together, saying it out loud, it don't even make sense.
Right.
You don't have to do that. You have these other people who have not lost a child, have not lost a sibling, have not lost a father, trying to tell you how to feel, trying to tell you what you need to do. No, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose a child and I tell you it's okay for you not to throw no big party on his birthday, you're going to believe me because I lost a child.
Yeah.
And I'm not throwing no big party. I did do that for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Then everybody got on my nerve. Because because you get tired of them. Because what the young people say, that fake love, because you're trying to celebrate my child today.
Right.
When I have to deal with the loss of my child every day. So why am I going to do something to make you more comfortable?
Yeah.
For you to be to celebrate my child.
Have some cake and some,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no.
That's not
and then
really.
you want me to pay for it. Let's talk about the money.
Oh, right.
Then you want me to pay for it.
Now, we're running out of time.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to say before we kind of wrap this part up?
Yes. If you have lost a child, a loved one, please get in contact with one of us. It's Mothers Over Murder on Facebook.
Mothers Over Murder.
Yes, on Facebook. My name is Stacy Hall. Clement Greenlee is our is our CEO. But just contact us because you are not by yourself.
Thank you. Stacy Hall, the director of Mothers Over Murder. We'll put some links on our Focus Facebook page, and we're going to continue this conversation with one of her guests again next week. I'm Anna Marie. That's Focus.